The Velkin trade station floated in the darkness like a metal city. It was huge, bigger than most planets' moons. 30,000 beings from different worlds lived and worked there. The station orbited around a giant gas planet that had pretty rings of ice and rock. Commander Thyros stood in the control room, looking out at the mining ships that came and went. His people had been digging deep into the planet's moons for rare metals. Business was good. The three big galactic powers all wanted what they found here. "Commander," called out Officer Nexus from her station, "the mining team on Moon 7 found something strange." Thyros walked over to look at her screen. "What kind of strange?" "They say it's some kind of old artifact. Really old. It's giving off energy readings they've never seen before." Thyros frowned. Old things in space usually meant trouble. Tell them to stop digging and bring it up carefully. But it was too late. The artifact came up from the moon's surface, glowing with a blue light that hurt to look at. As soon as it reached the mining ship, everything started going wrong. The ship's engines died first, then the lights went out. The ship began falling toward the moon. "Emergency transport," Thyros shouted. "Get those miners out of there." Transport ships rushed to save the miners. They got most of them out before the mining ship crashed into the moon. But the artifact kept glowing brighter and brighter. Then the energy wave hit the station. Every computer screen went black for a second. When they came back on, half the systems were showing error messages. The station's main power started going up and down like a heartbeat. "What's happening?" Thyros demanded. Nexus was pressing buttons fast, but nothing worked right. "The artifact is putting out some kind of energy field. It's messing with all our technology." More bad news came in fast. The docking bays couldn't open or close properly. Ships that tried to leave got stuck halfway out. The life support system started making strange noises. Worst of all, the artificial gravity began failing in some sections. "Sir," called another officer, "the energy field is getting stronger. Our shields can't stop it." Thyros looked around the control room. Warning lights flashed red everywhere. The station was dying, and 30,000 people were trapped on it. "How long do we have?" he asked. "Maybe 6 hours before life support fails completely," Nexus said. "Maybe less." Thyros thought fast. The three big galactic powers all had ships, but they were far away or busy fighting each other. The hegemony was dealing with rebels. The consortium was having trade wars. The Republic was arguing about new laws. "Send out a distress signal," he ordered. "All frequencies. Tell everyone we need help now." "What should I say?" asked Nexus. "Tell them we have 30,000 beings who will die if no one comes. Tell them we need ships that can take people off the station before it falls apart." Nexus typed the message and sent it out into space. The signal traveled fast, jumping from one communication station to another. It reached the big powers first, but their answer was always the same. "We cannot help right now." The hegemony said their ships were too far away. The consortium said they were busy with important trade meetings. The Republic said they would form a committee to discuss helping, but that would take days. Thyros felt hopeless. Nobody was coming. The station shook as another system failed. In the distance, he could see the artifact still glowing on the mining ship's wreckage. It was getting brighter every hour. "Keep sending the signal," he told Nexus. "Maybe someone will hear us." The signal kept going out into space. It reached many worlds and many ships. Most ignored it. Some heard it but were too far away. Others heard it but didn't care about strangers. But the signal kept traveling. It went past the big trade routes. It went past the military zones. It went past the fancy worlds where rich aliens lived in big cities. The signal traveled to the edge of known space, where most civilizations didn't bother to go. It reached a small yellow star that had a few planets around it. Most galactic maps didn't even mark this system properly. The beings there were new to space travel. They were considered primitive and not worth talking to. The third planet from the star was blue and green. The beings there called it Earth, and they called themselves humans. A human ship was flying near the edge of their solar system when the signal reached them. The ship was small by galactic standards. Only 800 people worked on it. Most alien ships had thousands or millions of crew members. Captain Hyunwoo was drinking coffee in his captain's chair when Communications Officer Hee Wan looked up from her station. "Captain," she said, "I'm getting a distress signal. It's not from Earth." Hyunwoo put down his coffee. "From where?" "It's coming from something called the Vulcan Trade Station. They say they have 30,000 people trapped and dying." The bridge got quiet. Most of the crew had never heard from aliens before. First contact with other worlds had happened 50 years ago. But Earth was mostly ignored by the big galactic powers. "How far away are they?" Hyunwoo asked. Chief Engineer Bo-Ra checked her computers. "About 6 hours if we push our engines really hard. Maybe 7 hours if we want to be safe. They said they have 6 hours before everyone dies," Hye-Wan added. Hyunwoo stood up and looked around at his crew. They were all looking at him, waiting for orders. He knew what he had to do, even though it was dangerous. Even though they had never met these aliens before. "Set course for the Vulcan Trade Station," he said. "Push the engines as hard as you can." "Sir," said Commander Ji-Hai, "we don't know anything about these aliens. This could be a trap." Hyunwoo nodded. "Maybe, but 30,000 people are going to die if we don't try to help them." The ship turned and began flying toward the distress signal. Behind them, Earth got smaller and smaller. Ahead of them waited aliens who had never seen humans before. Nobody on the ship knew that they were about to change everything in the galaxy forever. The UES Indomitable flew through space faster than it was supposed to. Captain Hyunwoo walked around the ship, checking on his crew. Everyone was working hard to get to the aliens in time. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Bo-Ra was pushing their quantum drive past safe limits. The engines were making noises they had never made before. Sparks flew from some control panels. "How are we doing, Bo-Ra?" Hyunwoo asked through the communication system. "The engines are running at 120%, she answered, wiping sweat from her face. "I can keep this up for maybe 7 hours before something breaks." "We only need 6 hours, Hyunwoo said. "I hope so, Captain. Because if these engines blow up, we'll be floating in space with the aliens we're trying to save." In the medical bay, Dr. Taemin was reading everything he could find about alien biology. The computer files were small because humans didn't know much about other species yet. There could be up to 20 different kinds of aliens on that station, he told his medical team. "We don't know how their bodies work. We don't know what medicines will help them or hurt them." Nurse Soo-jin looked worried. "How are we supposed to treat patients we've never seen before?" "We'll figure it out," Taemin said. "We always do." On the military deck, Commander Ji-Hai was preparing her soldiers for anything. They cleaned their weapons and checked their armor, but they didn't know what they might have to fight. "Remember," Ji-Hai told her troops, "we're going to help these aliens, not fight them. But we don't know what's causing their emergency. Stay ready for trouble." Sergeant Woo Jin raised his hand. "Ma'am, what if the aliens don't want our help? What if they think we're attacking them?" "Then we'll have to convince them we're here to help," Ji-Hai said. "Try to look friendly." The soldiers laughed a little, but they were nervous. None of them had ever seen an alien before. Back on the bridge, Communications Officer Hye-Wan was trying to learn alien languages from the computer. The distress signal had words in it that humans had never heard before. "Captain," she said, "I think I can understand some of what they're saying. But there are at least 9 different languages in their transmissions." "Do your best," Hyunwoo said. "We'll use hand signals if we have to." Dr. Taemin came to the bridge with a tablet computer. "Captain, I've been reading about the different alien species. The Vulcans are like big lizards that walk on 2 legs. They breathe the same air we do, which is good. But there might be other species there that need different air or different temperatures." "Can we help them?" Hyunwoo asked. "We can try. Our environmental suits should work for most species, and our medical equipment might work on them too." Hyunwoo nodded. "What else do we know about these aliens?" "Not much," Taemin admitted. "Most galactic civilizations think humans are too primitive to talk to. They don't share information with us." "Their loss," said Bo-Ra over the communication system. "If they shared information, they might have more ships coming to help." Hours passed. The ship kept flying through space at dangerous speeds. Everyone worked at their stations preparing for something they had never done before. "Captain," called out Navigator Dong-hyun, "I'm seeing the Velkin trade station on our screens." Hyun-woo looked at the main screen. In the distance, he could see a huge metal structure. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. But even from far away, they could see that something was wrong. Parts of the station were dark. Other parts were flashing warning lights. "There," pointed Hyewan. "I can see the artifact they mentioned. It's on that crashed ship near the station." The artifact was glowing bright blue. Even through the ship's cameras, it hurt to look at. "That thing is putting out a lot of energy," said Science Officer Chan-woo. "It's interfering with all the technology around it." "Can we get close to the station?" Hyun-woo asked. "Yes, but our ship might have problems too when we get near that energy field," Bo-ra warned. "We'll deal with that when it happens," Hyun-woo said. "Hyewan, try to contact the station." Hyewan pressed buttons on her communication panel. Static filled the air, then a voice came through. It sounded scared and desperate. "This is Commander Thyros of Velkin Trade Station. Who is this? Are you here to help?" "This is Captain Hyun-woo of the human ship Indomitable. We received your distress signal. We're here to evacuate your people." There was silence for a moment. Then Thyros spoke again. "Did you say human? We don't know that species. Are you from one of the major powers?" "No, we're from Earth. We're new to space travel." Another pause. "How many ships do you have?" "Just this one," Hyun-woo said. "One ship? For 30,000 people?" Thyros sounded confused and worried. "It's all we have," Hyun-woo said. "But we'll make it work. How much time do we have?" "Maybe 2 hours before complete life support failure. Captain, with respect, one small ship cannot evacuate 30,000 beings." Hyun-woo looked around his bridge. His crew was listening to every word. They looked determined, not scared. "Commander Thyros," Hyun-woo said, "you sent out a distress signal asking for help. We're here to help. We might only have one ship, but we're not leaving anyone behind." I don't understand," Thyros said. "What do you want in return for this help?" "Nothing," Hyun-woo said. "People are in danger. That's all we need to know." The communication went quiet. On the station, Commander Thyros stared at his communication panel. In his long life, he had never heard anything like this. Ships that came to help always wanted something in return, money or resources or political favors. "Sir?" asked Officer Nexus. "Are these humans serious?" "I don't know," Thyros said. "But they're the only help we're going to get." On the Indomitable, Captain Hyun-woo was giving orders to his crew. "Bo-ra, prepare the ship for multiple evacuation runs. We'll take as many people as we can each trip. Ji-hee, get your teams ready for emergency evacuation procedures. We might have to go onto the station. Taemin, prepare the medical bay for alien patients. Do the best you can. Hee-won, keep trying to talk to the station. Find out where we should dock." Everyone moved fast. They had less than 2 hours to save 30,000 aliens they had never met before. Most galactic civilizations would have said it was impossible, but the humans got to work anyway. The Indomitable docked with the Velkin trade station with a loud crash. The station's docking systems were failing, so Captain Hyun-woo had to ram his ship into place. Sparks flew everywhere, but the seal held. Commander Thyros waited at the airlock, with a team of Velkin security guards. When the doors opened, he saw humans for the first time. They looked small compared to most galactic species. They had smooth skin instead of scales or fur, but their eyes were bright and determined. "Commander Thyros?" Captain Hyun-woo stepped forward and held out his hand. Thyros looked at the hand, confused. "What are you doing?" "It's called a handshake. It's how humans greet each other." Hyun-woo smiled. "Don't worry, it won't hurt." Thyros carefully took the human's hand. It was warm and soft, not like the claws or tentacles he was used to. "Welcome to Velkin Trade Station, Captain, though I'm afraid you may have come here to die with us." "Nobody's dying today," Hyun-woo said. "Show us what needs to be fixed." Dr. Taemin stepped forward with his medical team. He looked at the Velkins with wonder. They were tall, with green scales and large yellow eyes. Amazing, he whispered. Commander Thyros, are there injured people we should help first? Yes, but our medical bay is in the damaged section. We can't get to it safely. Then we'll go get the injured and bring them here, said Nurse Sujin. She was already unpacking. Medical supplies. Thyros stared at her. The damaged section is dangerous. The gravity fails randomly and toxic gas is leaking in some areas. That's okay, Sujin said. We have environmental suits. Where are the injured? Before Thyros could answer, alarms started blaring throughout the station. The lights flickered and went out for several seconds. The reactor is failing, Officer Nexus called out over the communication system. If it goes critical, it will destroy the entire station. Engineer Bora was already running toward the reactor room with her tools. Where's your engine room? She asked. Level 7, Section C, Thyros said. But the radiation levels are too high. Anyone who goes in there will die. How long do we have? Bora asked. Maybe 30 minutes before total reactor failure. Bora nodded and kept running. 30 minutes is plenty of time. Thyros followed her, along with his chief engineer Vex. Human, you don't understand. The radiation will kill you in minutes. Maybe, Bora said as she put on her radiation suit. But if I don't fix it, everyone dies anyway. At the reactor room, Bora looked at the massive alien machinery. It was different from human technology, but the basic principles were the same. Energy flowed through conduits. Cooling systems kept things from overheating. Containment fields held dangerous forces. The containment field is failing, Vex explained. When it collapses, the reactor will explode. Can you stabilize it from outside? Bora asked. No, someone has to go inside and manually reset the field generators. Bora picked up her tools. Then that's what I'll do. You'll die, Vex said. Maybe. But if I don't try, we'll all die for sure. Bora opened the reactor room door and walked inside. The radiation detector on her suit started clicking fast. She had maybe 10 minutes before the radiation killed her. She worked fast, connecting wires and adjusting controls. Her hands moved with skill and confidence. Behind her, Vex watched through the window, amazed. No Velkan engineer would have volunteered for certain death. While Bora worked on the reactor, the evacuation began. Commander Jihai organized her soldiers to help move people to the Indomitable. They found thousands of aliens from many different species. Some looked like insects. Others looked like plants. Some were made of crystal. How do we carry the crystal people? Asked Sergeant Wu Jin. They're too heavy. Carefully, Jihai said. Figure it out. The soldiers did figure it out. They used emergency sleds and gravity lifts. They worked with alien security teams who had never seen humans before. Most aliens were amazed that the humans didn't ask for anything in return. In the medical bay, Dr. Taman was treating injured aliens. He had no idea how their bodies worked, but he tried. Anyway, when his human medicine didn't work, he asked alien doctors to help him learn. This patient has green blood, he told a Thorian doctor who looked like a walking tree. What does that mean? Green blood carries different nutrients than red blood, the Thorian explained. But your basic medical principles should still work. Tae-min nodded and kept working. He saved 3 aliens that day by adapting human medical techniques to alien biology, but the evacuation was too slow. The Indomitable could only hold about 1,000 people at a time. With 30,000 people to evacuate, they would need 30 trips. They didn't have time for 30 trips. That's when Communications Officer Hai-Wan had an idea. Captain, she called Hyunwoo on her radio. What if we use the station's own escape pods? We could guide them to safe areas where other ships could pick them up later. The escape pods don't work, Commander Thyros said. The artifact's energy field interferes with their guidance systems. Then we'll guide them manually, Hai-Wan said. Humans can fly the pods. That's suicide, Thyros said. The energy field will destroy your navigation systems. You'll be flying blind through space debris. Hai-Wan was already putting on a spacesuit. I've flown through asteroid fields before. How hard can it be? Before anyone could stop her, she was in an escape pod with 50 alien refugees. She launched into space, flying by instinct and experience. Her navigation systems failed immediately, just like Thyros predicted. But she used the stars to navigate, something most aliens had forgotten how to do. She guided the pod to a safe area and activated its emergency beacon. Then she flew back to get another group. Other humans started doing the same thing. Pilot So Young took a pod full of Velkan children. Engineer Dong Hyun flew a pod of injured crystal beings. Communications officer Kyung Ho guided a pod of plant-like aliens who needed special atmosphere. All over the station, humans were doing things that terrified the aliens. They volunteered for dangerous jobs. They risked their lives for strangers. They shared their food and water with alien refugees. In the reactor room, Bora finished her repairs just as her radiation detector started screaming warnings. She had been exposed to enough radiation to kill her 3 times over, but the reactor was stable. She collapsed just outside the reactor room door. Medical officer Sujin ran to help her. Bora! Sujin checked her pulse. She's alive, but barely. The radiation poisoning is severe. Will she live? Asked Engineer Vex. I don't know, Sujin said. But she saved all of us. As the evacuation continued, more humans made impossible sacrifices. When a section of the station started collapsing, Marine J-Ho stayed behind to manually hold open the blast doors. 200 Velkan children escaped through those doors while the ceiling crushed J-Ho. The aliens watched in growing horror. In their cultures, people looked out for their own species first. They made deals and asked for payment. They calculated risks and benefits, but humans seemed to have no sense of self-preservation when others were in danger. They gave up their own safety for complete strangers. They shared resources without asking for anything back. What's wrong with them? Asked Officer Nexus as she watched humans work. I don't know, Commander Thyros said. I've never seen anything like it. By the time the evacuation was complete, the aliens had learned something that would change the galaxy forever. They had met a species that was genuinely, terrifyingly selfless, and word was already spreading through the galactic communication networks. Other civilizations were hearing about the humans who had risked everything to save 30,000 strangers. The galaxy would never be the same. The news spread through the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. On communication networks, trading posts, and diplomatic channels, everyone was talking about the same thing: the humans who had saved Velkan Trade Station. At first, nobody believed it. On the Hegemony homeworld, Intelligence Director Korath read the reports with disbelief. His species, the Zephyrians, were tall and proud. They had ruled their part of the galaxy for 1,000 years. This must be propaganda, Korath told his assistant. No species risks everything for strangers. The humans must want something. Sir, we have testimony from over 300 witnesses, the assistant said. Survivors from 12 different species all tell the same story. Korath looked at the testimonies on his screen. Velkans, Thorians, crystal beings, plant people, and others all said the same thing. The humans had risked their lives to save everyone on the station. They had asked for nothing in return. What about payment? Korath asked. Surely they demanded resources or territory. No, sir. According to Commander Thyros, the humans refused all offers of payment. They seemed confused when payment was mentioned. Korath stood up and walked to his window. Outside, he could see the great cities of the hegemony. His people had built all of this through conquest and smart trading. The idea of giving help for free made no sense to him. Keep monitoring these humans, he ordered. There must be a logical explanation. Meanwhile, in Consortium space, Trade Administrator Vec was having similar problems believing the reports. The consortium was made up of species that loved making deals. Everything had a price. Everything was negotiated. They saved 30,000 beings and asked for nothing? Vec asked her analyst team. That's what all the reports say, confirmed analyst Grix. The humans even gave medical supplies to alien doctors. They shared their food with refugees. They taught rescue techniques to alien security teams. This is impossible, Vec said. Nobody gives away resources for free. What's their angle? We don't know, Grix admitted. We've analyzed their behavior from every possible perspective. Political gain, military advantage, economic benefit. Nothing fits. Then they must be stupid, Vec concluded. Or perhaps this is some kind of long-term strategy we don't understand yet. But the reports kept coming. More human ships had arrived at Velkin Trade Station to help with cleanup and repairs. Captain Minho of the UES Defiant brought medical supplies and engineering equipment, all given freely to the aliens. When Representative Jiangsu from the Hegemony arrived to investigate, he expected to find humans making demands. Instead, he found Captain Hyunwoo helping Velkin engineers rebuild their communication systems. Captain, Jiangsu said through a translator, I am Representative Jiangsu of the Hegemony. I would like to discuss compensation for your assistance. Hyunwoo looked confused. Compensation for what? For saving 30,000 lives. Surely you expect payment for such a significant service? Payment? Hyunwoo shook his head. We don't need payment. We were just helping people who were in trouble. Jiangsu felt a chill of fear. In his long diplomatic career, he had never met anyone who didn't want something in return for their help. Perhaps territorial concessions then, Jiangsu suggested, or trading rights. We don't need territory, Hyunwoo said, and we don't know enough about galactic trade to ask for trading rights. We just wanted to make sure everyone was safe. Jiangsu left the meeting more scared than when he arrived. He immediately sent a message to Hegemony headquarters. The humans are not negotiating. They genuinely appear to help others without expecting anything in return. This is unprecedented and potentially dangerous. Dr. Taemin was working with Velkin doctors to treat radiation sickness in the survivors. He had brought human medical knowledge and was sharing it freely with alien physicians. Dr. Taemin, said Dr. Zen, a Velkin medical officer. This treatment protocol you've shown us could revolutionize how we treat radiation exposure. Don't you want to patent it? Sell it to medical companies? Patent it? Taemin looked confused. Why would I patent something that saves lives? Use it however you want. Teach it to other doctors. Save more people. Dr. Zen stared at him. In Galactic, civilization medical knowledge was expensive. Companies spent millions developing treatments, then sold them for huge profits. The idea of giving away life-saving knowledge for free was unthinkable. Are you certain? Dr. Zen asked. This knowledge could make your species very wealthy. We'd rather save lives than make money, Taemin said simply. Word of this conversation reached the consortium within hours. Trade Administrator Vec called an emergency meeting. They're giving away valuable medical knowledge, she told her board of directors. They're sharing rescue techniques. They're teaching engineering solutions to anyone who asks. What do they want in exchange? Asked Director Hux. Nothing, Vec said. They want nothing. The board sat in stunned silence. A species that gave away valuable knowledge for free could destroy the galactic economy. How could you sell something when humans were giving it away? On the Republic homeworld, philosopher In Su was writing a paper about human behavior. The Republic was democratic and believed in cooperation between species. But even they had never seen anything like the humans. The human response pattern defies all known evolutionary psychology, In Su wrote. Standard evolutionary theory suggests that species develop survival instincts that favor their own kind. Altruism typically extends only to close relatives or tribal groups, but humans demonstrate altruism toward complete strangers of different species. They risk their own lives for beings they have never met and will never see again. They share resources without any expectation of reciprocity. This behavior pattern, if genuine, represents a fundamental shift in how we understand intelligent species development. In Su's paper was published on the Galactic Academic Network. Within days, scientists across the galaxy were debating its implications. Military analysts were especially concerned. General Thane of the Hegemony Defense Force ran combat simulations to see how humans might fight in a war. Sir, reported his tactical computer, the simulations keep breaking down. What do you mean? Thane asked. The computer assumes that humans will retreat to save themselves when facing impossible odds. But based on their behavior at Velkin Station, they don't retreat. They fight to save others even when it means certain death. Run the simulation assuming humans don't retreat. The computer ran the simulation again. The results terrified General Thane. Human forces that never retreated and never abandoned their allies would be nearly impossible to defeat. Not because they were stronger or had better weapons, but because they refused to give up. Sir, the tactical computer continued, humans also share their battle strategies with allied forces during combat. They teach their tactics to other species in real time. This creates exponentially improving defensive capabilities. General Thane stared at the simulation results. An enemy that fought to the death for strangers and shared all their knowledge freely was unlike anything in galactic military history. Back at Velkin Trade Station, Captain Hyun-woo was preparing to leave. The station was repaired and running normally. All the refugees had been safely relocated. The mysterious artifact had been contained by human and Velkin engineers working together. Commander Thyros came to say goodbye. Captain Hyun-woo, my people, will never forget what you've done. Is there truly nothing we can give you? You don't owe us anything, Hyun-woo said. Just help the next person who needs it. But surely your superiors expect some kind of report, some benefit from this mission? Hyun-woo smiled. I'll tell them we helped some people who were in trouble. That's all they need to know. As the human ships prepared to leave, Thyros realized something that made his blood run cold. The humans hadn't just saved his station. They had treated it like it was normal, like helping strangers was something they did all the time. If the humans responded to every distress call this way, if they helped anyone who asked for help, then they were the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they were violent, but because they were genuinely good. And in a galaxy where everything had a price, genuine goodness was terrifying. 6 months after the Velkin Trade Station incident, emergency meetings were happening on every major world in the galaxy. The three great powers were finally starting to understand what they were dealing with. On the hegemony capital world, Supreme, Commander Kane called together his top military leaders. The meeting room was dark and serious. Maps of the galaxy covered the walls, showing hegemony territory in red. Intelligence Director Korath, Kane said, tell us what you've learned about the humans. Korath stood up and activated a holographic display. It showed Earth and the small human colonies around it. The humans have been active in space for only 50 years, Korath began. They have a small fleet of ships and control maybe 20 star systems. By galactic standards, they are nothing. Then why are we concerned about them? Asked General Thane. Because of this, Korath pressed a button. The display showed incident reports from across the galaxy. In the past 6 months, humans have responded to 47 distress calls. They have saved over 200,000 beings from 17 different species. The military leaders looked at the numbers in shock. They're everywhere, continued Korath. Cargo ship breaking down near the neutral zone? Humans arrive to help. Plague outbreak on a mining colony? Humans bring medicine? Pirate attack on a civilian transport? Humans fight off the attackers. What do they ask for in return? Asked Admiral Voss. Nothing, Korath said. In every single case, they refuse payment. They refuse territory. They refuse trading rights. They help, and then they leave. Supreme Commander Kane leaned forward. There must be a strategy, some long-term plan. Sir, we've analyzed their behavior from every angle. There is no strategy. They simply help anyone who asks for help. The room went quiet. Outside the windows, the great city of the hegemony stretched to the horizon. It had been built through conquest and careful planning. The idea of helping enemies made no sense. How many ships do they have? Kine asked. Maybe 300 total, Korath replied. But they're building more. And here's the problem. Every species they save becomes grateful. Grateful? General Thane looked confused. The Velkins have offered to share their mining technology with humans. The crystal beings want to teach them about energy manipulation. The plant people are sending them agricultural specialists. The humans aren't demanding these things. Other species are giving them freely. Admiral Voss understood. First, they're gaining allies without trying to gain allies. Exactly, Korath said. And it gets worse. Other species are starting to copy human behavior. We've seen Velkan ships responding to distress calls, Thorian medical teams sharing knowledge freely. The humans are spreading their philosophy. Meanwhile, in consortium space, Trade Administrator Vec was facing an economic crisis. Her species, the merchants, had built their civilization on buying and selling everything, but the humans were disrupting the entire system. They're giving away everything, Vec complained to her economic advisors. Medical knowledge, engineering, techniques, rescue procedures. How can we compete with free? Economist Dar looked at his charts with worry. It's worse than that. Other species are starting to trade differently because of human influence. The Thorians used to charge high prices for their healing services. Now they're offering free medical aid to disaster areas. The Velkans used to sell their mining data to the highest bidder, added analyst Flux. Now they're sharing geological surveys with anyone who asks. Vec felt sick. How much money are we losing? Billions of credits per month, Dar said. And it's getting worse. Every time humans help someone, that species becomes less interested in traditional commerce. Can we compete by lowering our prices? Vec asked. You can't compete with free, Flux said. The humans aren't even trying to make money. They're giving away things that took us decades to develop. Vec stood up and walked to her office window. Below her, the great trading cities of the consortium bustled with activity. But for how much longer? What if we copied their strategy? She asked. What if we started helping people for free? Her advisors looked at her like she had gone insane. Ma'am, Dar said carefully, our entire economy is based on profit. If we stopped charging for our services, our civilization would collapse in weeks. Then how do the humans do it? We don't know, Flux admitted. Their economic system doesn't make sense to us. They seem to believe that helping others is more important than making money. In the Republic, philosopher Insu was working on his second paper about humans. This one was titled The Human Anomaly, Weaponized Altruism and Its Galactic Implications. Traditional. Military theory assumes that armies fight for territory, resources, or ideology, Insu wrote. But humans appear to fight for the protection of strangers. This creates unprecedented tactical advantages. When humans arrive at a battle, they immediately begin helping wounded enemies. They share medical supplies with opposing forces. They rescue civilians from both sides of the conflict. This behavior consistently turns enemies into allies. We have documented 17 cases where hostile forces stopped fighting to protect human rescue workers. The humans have weaponized goodness. They have turned altruism into the most effective military strategy in galactic history. Insu's paper was classified as a military secret by the Republic government, but copies leaked to the other powers within days. Defense Minister Eugen of the Republic called a secret meeting with her counterparts from the Hegemony and Consortium. They met on a neutral station in deep space. We need to discuss the human problem, Eugen said. They're not a problem, said Hegemony General Thane. They're a disaster. Do you know what our war simulations show? Tell us, said Consortium Security Chief Hawks. Human forces don't retreat, ever. They fight to save everyone, including their enemies. Computer models show they would be nearly impossible to defeat in a war. But they're not trying to conquer anyone, Eugen pointed out. That's what makes them so dangerous, Hawk said. If they were conquerors, we could fight them. But they're helpers. How do you fight someone who only wants to rescue your people? The three officials sat in uncomfortable silence. What if we tried to contain them? Thane suggested. Keep them in their own space. How? Eugen asked. They respond to distress calls from anywhere in the galaxy. Are we supposed to stop people from asking for help? What if we made helping others illegal? Hawks suggested. Then we look like the villains, Eugen said. And the humans look like heroes. That makes our problem worse. General Thane brought up a tactical display. Look at this. 6 months ago, humans had maybe 50 allied species. Today they have over 300. Every species they help becomes their friend. At this rate, Hawks calculated. Humans will have more allies than the three major powers combined within 2 years. And they're not even trying to gain allies, Yujin said. They're just helping people, which makes other species trust them more. The meeting ended without solutions. How do you stop a species that gains power by giving it away? Back on Earth, Admiral Sang-woo was reading reports from human ships across the galaxy. He smiled as he read about the latest rescues and relief missions. Admiral, said his aide, Captain Sung-hee, intelligence suggests that the major powers are concerned about our activities. Of course they are, Sang-woo said. We're doing something they've never seen before. What's that, sir? We're being decent people, Sang-woo said. And apparently, that's terrifying. Captain Sung-hee looked confused. I don't understand why helping people would scare anyone. Admiral Sang-woo looked out at the stars. Because we're changing the rules of the game. For thousands of years, galactic civilization has been based on the idea that everyone looks out for themselves first. We're proving that doesn't have to be true. Is that bad? Not for us, Sang-woo said. But for civilizations built on selfishness and exploitation? Yes, that's very bad indeed. As he spoke, another distress call came in. Somewhere in the galaxy, people needed help, and somewhere else a human ship was already changing course to provide that help. The galaxy was learning that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or military might. It was something much simpler and much more dangerous. The genuine desire to help others no matter who they were or what it cost.